Tonight.
Wait, let me tune. Okay.
Tuning.
Boneheads!
What's up, guys? We're Bonehead Reviews. My name's Jack.
I'm Jake.
I'm Kevin.
And we're reviewing Dose by Green Day, which is the second of their 3-album trilogy coming out. Dose was kind of like their take back to the oldies and bring back probably what their early inspirations were, along with other things. And so we're here just to kind of give our opinions and whatnot. So, Jack, why don't you get us started? Tell us your favorite song. Why not?
My favorite song on the album was Wow, That's Loud, because it really stuck out to me as kind of feeling really classic rock-esque. You know, like the melody's kind of Beatles. I know you're going to disagree with me.
No,
It's also got a really catchy hook that's really simple.
Wow.
And the beginning guitar.
Loud.
Yeah.
It also kind of has like melody-wise, it's kind of got like the Kids Are Alright era Who kind of sound to it, which has always been present in Green Day, because the Who are one of their main inspirations. But it definitely shows. It definitely shows a lot in this song, in this album especially, I think.
Yeah, that song reminded me of the oldies, like, you know, what you guys said.
Yeah.
Much. I can't really be the third guy to give an opinion
Maybe,
on
This
something
song
so-
is good and sounds old. Jake.
Okay, well, my favorite song was Ashley, strictly because it's like the song that anyone who's ever had girl problems can relate to. Especially the line that drove me to love the song so much when it's, you know, I finally lost touch because you're so out of reach.
Whoa.
That
Whoa.
line, it's such a good line. So I mean, I fell in love with the song that way, and just because it was so immediate, doesn't it come up after Stray Heart? It just like immediately.
Stray
kicked
Heart's
in.
kind of a little bit laid back and kind of like,
Yeah.
and then immediately
Everything I
Ashley.
want,
Yeah, and then
I
Ashley
want
just kicked
from
in.
you.
It was like, just like the album was supposed to be like some hell party, they called it. So that's like probably the part of the
Hell
party
makeout
where
party?
like your ex-girlfriend shows up, and you're like, I'm over you, bitch. That's kind of what I imagine that song.
Yeah.
That's probably what's like smack dab in the middle of the record.
And,
too.
my
It's
favorite-
amazing. I like it.
Yeah, my favorite song is, I like it for the opposite reason, is I can't relate to it, is It's Fuck Time. Because that's never happened to me, because you know why. You listen to our reviews, you know why.
Getting too personal here. You're gonna
I'm
make
so-
me cry.
It's okay, Jake. It's okay. Yeah, but I really like this song because it's really catchy. It's really in your face. Which
Humor value.
And we,
it kind of brings back to the thing that Green Day is like, hey, we can still be goofy and fun, but still fucking rock out. You know,
and now that they're mentioning that song is a great segue into the elephant in the laptop, which is elephant in the room,
Oh, okay.
which is that
What the fuck are you talking
that
about?
Fuck Time was a Foxborough Hot Tub song, and
Yeah.
that people are really mad that they're calling it Foxborough Hot Tub Part 2, which I can see why people are mad, because it's a Green Day record, but you want to think of it as a Green Day record. But the point is that Foxborough Hot Tubs is Green Day.
It's like getting pissed off. It's like, Ozzy Osbourne sounds like Black Sabbath.
So, like, it's kind of a useless way to get mad at something, but it kind of makes sense because that was kind of Green Day's way of saying, hey, we don't have to be Green Day and still make a record, but then they make a record that sounds like it. So I would call it Foxborough Hot Tubs Part 2, but in a different sense.
No, I'm really happy with that, because if you sit that next to Uno, it's a big contrast, but it works. Like, the guitar tone's exactly the same, even though in my opinion, I think they complement Dose a bit more. Still good in Uno, but, you know, these albums complement each other really well.
I also like to say there's an influence of a band that Green Day claims not to be, but they are, because you definitely can hear Billy Joe's voice as The Network. I can definitely hear some, what's their album called? The, like, one
It's
album?
like Money 2020.
Yeah, I can definitely hear a lot of influence from that album on this as well, which is a good thing because I thought it was really good.
It's kind of like everything Green Day didn't do in Green Day, but they did as, like, separates. They kind of combined it into a trilogy.
We gotta talk about the troublemaker, even though it's a guilty pleasure, Nightlife.
Nightlife opened me up to Troublemaker and ended up making me really like both.
I still don't like Troublemaker. But
Troublemaker's awesome.
Nightlife is now a guilty pleasure of mine. It's like, there's so many people I know who just completely hate that song. Coffee burp. But I honestly love that song.
My thing is, I don't like hate it. I just don't really like it that much. I can see why you guys like it. well, you don't really like it as a guilty pleasure, so it's not really a real like. You actually legitimately enjoy
No, guilty
the song.
pleasures are likes that you don't want anyone to know about.
Yeah.
A guilty pleasure, in my view, is something that you're embarrassed to admit you like.
Yeah.
Like any song by Simple Plan.
Like, let's be honest. If my sister's like, "Oh, put on some Green Day," heartbeat fast, sounds like love, but you know all that. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I would not put Nightlife on if someone said, "Show me a Green Day song."
Yeah, but
In the off chance that they've
yeah.
never heard
I
Green
just
Day
like
before.
I like it.
Let's put Lash right in.
I don't hate the song. I dislike it, but I can see why people like it, and I can applaud Green Day for trying to try out something new, even though I don't really think it worked out in their best interest, in my opinion.
Real quick, there's one thing I want to talk about. We've pretty much just been saying, dude, this album's great, like all positives. One thing that I want to kind of a negative, I feel like the songs, I mean, they're memorable and everything, but a lot of them have lost their wow factor.
Yeah, after a
That's
few
loud.
listens.
But like I had two big problems with the record. Number one was that I felt like the tracks weren't, for the most part, in a good order.
Amy was not a good way to end it.
Yeah, I felt like "See You Tonight" actually would have been a great way to end the album.
Yeah.
But like,
I like the "See You Tonight" and then let's fuck.
yeah, I just felt like the tracks were kind of more thrown in there and not like lined up. Ashley, I thought was a great idea to put in like somewhat towards the middle of the record, and after Stray Hair, no one cares. After Stray Heart and kind of in the middle, I thought that was good. And then my other beef with the record was that I felt they kind of overused the "we're going oldies" thing, because like Uno kind of had some oldie sense in it, but like still with like a memorable Green Day factor. But then Dose was kind of like, we're gonna take this to a whole new level now because people like Uno.
I have to say though, after now that Uno and Dose have been out for a while now, I realize they lose kind of their sense after a while, and they don't seem as good as initially like I was left with the initial impression. They're still good, but like not as like I think listening to the Uno review, I think I gave it way too high of a rating.
I still like Uno, and
Yeah, like there's like I don't like dislike the records, but I think like the initial impression was a lot stronger. And then
So what do you say, guys? Would you say this is better than Uno or not as impressive?
I would not say. I would say it's great, but not better than Uno, and that's just my stubborn.
Kevin?
slightly better than Uno.
I just enjoy it a bit more. If I want to have fun, I go to Dose. If I'm like, oh man, I want like anger, I'll go to Insomniac. But if I want to listen to Uno, I'll listen to Uno. So
It was a terrible segue to Uno.
Yeah, and then what do you think? What do you think about like Dookie or Kaplunk? I'm bored and a teenager. I want to masturbate. Dookie.
Let's quit talking about old Green Day albums.
okay,
Okay.
out of 10.
Well, hold on. I'm just kind of thinking this up on the spot. What do you predict Trey will sound like after hearing Uno and Dose?
I think it'll sound okay. Here's, I think it'll sound like a mix of the two, because I don't think they're going to bring another new concept into the trilogy. Like they had, like Lust and Party. I think they're gonna mix both of those to make Trey.
And also, I think there's going to be a little bit more remorse on Trey because they kind of made it sound like that.
Also, I've listened to a few songs off Trey.
Wait, didn't they call it like the reflective hangover?
Yeah, there was that fan art where Uno's the warm up, Dose is the party, and Trey's the hangover.
Well, here's how I predict Trey will sound more like Uno and less of Dose, and here's why. I'm thinking more from like a quote-unquote businessman perspective, where Uno was kind of the more straightforward Green Day, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this is kind of what we're doing, we're just doing a little different with a different guitar tone, so people liked it. And then Dose was like, this is us completely experimenting right out of the blue, and we don't really care if you don't like it. And then, Trey is probably, well, if you didn't like Dose, we're going to do something that you can relate to again, kind of like Uno, just so we can bring you back to something you liked. So that's how I would think it would do from a businessman perspective, but Green Day has the attitude of not really caring at all.
Out of 10, what do you think, Jake?
I would give it a 7.5.
I'd say I'd give it about a 7.5, and I know I said I liked it better than Uno, and I gave Uno a higher rating, but that's because I hadn't really listened to enough of Uno to make a clear decision. So
Professional.
So, shut the fuck up. I'd give like Uno a 7, and then Dose a 7.5, and then Jack.
I would give Dose a 9, actually, because despite any gripes I have with this album, I enjoyed every song to the fullest.
The only song I had a beef with, other than
Wild
my guilty
One?
pleasure of Nightlife, would probably be Amy.
Amy?
It was like a good song, but it wasn't like. It was.
It's a song about.
That's kind of.
I like
it's
it.
a song
I like it
about
more
a
than you.
dead, coked up whore. Honestly.
Yeah, I
She
actually
was a
was kind of
beautiful lady.
surprised that they made the song. I wonder if like they were friends or if they liked her or something.
Yeah.
I think they just liked her.
I don't really care that much.
Yeah, who cares?
And maybe like, Amy Winehouse just died. Now how do we make more money? Write a song about her.
Or they could have just made it in the context that since the album is kind of about sex and drugs and partying, that's kind of what she's known for.
Yeah.
If Ska was here, he'd have a lot to say because he hates her.
And I'm Ska. All right, well, thanks for sticking around listening to us ramble. I've been Jack.
I've been a lot of people, but I'm Jake today.
I was a rock in a past life, but right now I'm Kevin, so.
And this is Jesus.
And we'll see you later, guys.
We're the Boneheads.
Boneheads.